I had a very bad cold last week, but I'm feeling better now.
They didn't play very well, but we played even worse.
Who scored the most goals at World Cup 2006?
She chose the dish that had the least meat in it.
I like fine arts, but I like PE even more. I like fine arts, but I like PE even better.
His eldest daughter is older than his current wife.
He is currently in Beijing to promote his latest album.
I prefer the latter alternative, at least at present.
I have nothing further to say on this issue.
Could you show me something less expensive?
The Braves are considered the least likely to win the World Series. I'm shorter than he is. I'm shorter than him.
My son knows more about computers than I do. My son knows more about computers than me. Actually, he's shorter than he looks on screen. It is harder to retreat than it is to go on the attack.
Most books, when closed, are taller than they are wide. Most books, when closed, are more tall than wide. Our distribution system is less efficient than that of the UK.
He loves surfing as much as you do.
Those memories are still as vivid as yesterday.
Staying in Paris is not as expensive as you think. Staying in Paris is not so expensive as you think. Staying in Paris is less expensive than you think.
I use Nikon, but Canon is just as good.
The restaurant is not as crowded on weekdays.
For a flat monthly fee, you can rent as many games as you want.
The investigator's job is to collect as much information as possible.
There is probably no one who is as good a talker as he is.
My son is as tall as me and maybe stronger. My son is as tall as a pro basketball player.
Iceland is nearly as large as the state of New York. The heart of a blue whale is as large as a small car.
I met George once and he was as quiet as a mouse.
You always look as cool as a cucumber. She's been as busy as a beaver at work this week.
My grandpa is nearly 90, but he's fit as a fiddle.
It's a success story as American as apple pie.
His son got into Beijing University, so he's proud as a peacock.
She was pretty as a picture in her new dress.
The event attracted as many as 80,000 people.
The actress earns as much as $17 million per movie.
Great white sharks can measure as long as 6 meters. The first newspapers appeared as early as the 17th century.
It is small, being no more than 10 centimeters long and 4 centimeters wide.
Japan imports no less than 90% of its oil from the region.
She earns at least twice as much as I do. She earns at least 2 times as much as I do.
The perimeter of a square is 4 times as long as its side. The perimeter of a square is 4 times longer than its side. The perimeter of a square is 4 times the length of its side.
It now costs 8 times as much as it did 10 years ago. It now costs 8 times what it did 10 years ago.
When she was 20, she fell in love with a man twice her age.
Mars is only half as large as our planet. Mars is only half the size of our planet. Pluto is 2,390 kilometers across. It's about 2/3 as wide as the Moon and about 1/5 as wide as the Earth.
It is roughly 3/4 as high as it is wide. Its height is roughly 3/4 its width. Its height is roughly 3/4 its width.
Of all our rivals, the biggest is England.
This method is fastest but least accurate. This method is quickest but least accurate.
I'm sorry, but it's the best I can do right now.
I did best in math and worst in geography.
The Mississippi is the second longest river after the Missouri in the U.S. What gives you the most happiness?
I'm happiest when I'm singing. That was a most enjoyable evening, and I can't wait for the next one.
The whale is the largest of all animals. The whale is larger than any other animal. No other animal is as large as the whale. No other animal is so large as the whale.
Your health is more important than any job.
To me, that's far more important than anything else.
No other grain is better than oats for lowering cholesterol.
The global airline industry is as competitive as any global business.
The shirt cost 1,000 yen less than usual.
It will be a little smaller than the iPhone, but slightly thicker. It will be a bit smaller than the iPhone, but slightly thicker.
Today's technology makes our lives a lot easier and far more convenient than in the past. Today's technology makes our lives a lot easier and much more convenient than in the past.
I spend many more hours at work than anywhere else.
How much longer am I to wait?
Sparky is by far the smartest dog I've ever had.
Just do the very best you can, whatever you are doing.
The incident occurred at the worst possible time.
Kevin is the quieter of the two, and Jason the more active.
Her honesty made me respect her all the more.
I worked all the harder because I didn't want to let them down.
Christmas was a quiet time, but none the worse for that.
As I hear more about it, I get more disgusted. The more I hear about it, the more disgusted I get.
The sooner we see a problem, the more time we have to solve it.
Does wine taste better the older it gets?
When should we book?
The sooner the better.
Stock prices rose higher and higher as businesses grew.
English is becoming more and more important in the work environment.
Such scenes are seen less and less often these days.
She can't support herself, much less a baby. She can't support herself, still less a baby. Some people believe marijuana is no more dangerous than alcohol.
A healthy child can no more sit still than a puppy can.
Passive smoking is no less dangerous than active smoking.
Some people have more than one job to make ends meet.
The regulations apply to businesses with 100 or more employees.
I'm looking for a mountain bike for less than $200. I'm looking for a mountain bike for under $200.